Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on, Liverpool? How you doing? All right? All right, cool. Not the talkative type. Gotcha. Right on. Well, hey, I'm glad to be here. I'm from America. I'm not going to say much about that other than I don't know what's going on either. All right, so leave me the fuck out of it. I'm not one of the Americans that voted for that dude. All right, and I'm not one of the Russians that helped him get elected. So that's all I know about that. I do like being here in Liverpool, man. I went to the cathedral, the big one. Not the one that's bombed out, also not this one. And I went in there, and I just, like, for some reason, I just assumed, like, every cathedral is Catholic. But then the lady working there, she was like, actually, it's Anglican, And I was like, all right, that's cool. And then I turned around, and I saw something that I think is, like, really weird to see in a church, and that was a hot pink neon sign. I'm like, this kind of shit belongs in a strip club. Like, I don't know why this is in a church. And then it got even weirder because I read it. And when you read the hot pink neon sign in the cathedral, it says, he touched me, or I felt him, and I knew that he loved me. And I turned back to the lady, and I was like, are you sure this isn't a Catholic cathedral? Because that's some pedophile shit right there, if I've ever heard it. I do. Liverpool's awesome, man, but I feel like I have a pretty good sense of direction. But your town has been fucking with me since I've been here because I feel like no matter where I walk, like no matter down which road I go down, I still end up at that fucking outdoor shopping center. Like I'm like, how the fuck did I get back here? Like I just left here and I'm back again, and it was like messing me up. Like I felt like I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone, and so I'm like, all right, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna walk with my back to this place, and I'm just gonna walk straight down Bold Street, and I know that that's behind me, so there's no way. And then so like I walk down Bold Street, and I get to the bombed out church, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I turned around to make sure that the shopping center was still behind me, and then when I turned back, it was the fucking Odeon. I was like, what? No! How did that happen? How the fuck did that happen? All right, cool, killing it up here. I'm glad this is being recorded. I'm definitely gonna want to remember this forever and ever. So it's fucking awesome. Let's see. I met. Do you guys know who Chris Pratt is? Yeah, the actor. I met him a while back, and like I know what you're thinking is like, oh, that's cool. It's not because I fucked it up. It's like really embarrassing, you guys. Like normally I can handle myself all right, but I just kind of lost it around. I got starstruck. I wasn't expecting that, And what happened was I went to go to see a screening of the Jurassic World movie, and he was doing this benefit to help out sick kids. I'm like, that's fucking awesome, right? And so I go to the screening, and then he shows up, and I was like, oh my god, like that, like I wasn't expecting to feel that way. And so like I was a total cheeseball during the movie. Like anytime he said something remotely funny, I didn't know how to behave. I was just like, you, like that. And I was just like, god damn, like quit being an idiot, And then so at one point during the movie, I'm like, oh, I have to take a pee. So I get up to go leave to go to the restroom, and I see Chris and his brother are like at the end of the theater having like a little discussion. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I just give him a head nod, and I'm gonna keep walking. But then his brother and I know each other from high school, and he's like, hey, Daniel, come here. And so I'm like, oh, shit, cool, I'm about to meet this dude. And I go up, and his brother's like, hey, this is my buddy Daniel. He has a comedy album out right now. It's #2 on iTunes. And Chris Pratt looks at me. He's like, oh, hey, congrats, man. That's awesome. Like that. And I was like, you're awesome. I didn't, like, know what to say, And then I'm like, oh, shit, we have, like, nothing in common. Like, this guy fights dinosaurs on the I don't fight dinosaurs. Like, so I'm like, oh, but he probably likes to travel. So here's how awkward the conversation went. He's like, oh, hey, congrats, man, that's awesome. I'm like, you're awesome. I'm going to Scotland this summer. And then Chris Pratt's just like, cool. And I'm like, fuck, like I'm messing this up, And then I didn't know where to go from there. I just kind of like got shook. And then I was like, I got to go pee. And then I just walked away. And it took me 4 seconds of walking before I realized, dude, I just met Chris Pratt and said the exact same thing to him that Forrest Gump said when he met JFK. It's like, dude, I'm such a fucking idiot. Like, I gotta tell you guys, when I took that piss, my dick felt real small, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I was just sitting there, I was like full of self-hatred. I was just like, Bubba told me all about shrimping. Like, just a fucking, who does that, And so I'm gonna take you guys on a little journey. Come with me. I don't know what your weed laws are like here, but in America, they frown upon it when you're trying to fly on an airplane. They don't like you to fly with weed. So I don't know, that's the way it is here? Okay. So a few years ago, before weed laws are as relaxed, I was about to leave on this out-of-state gig. And as I'm about to go through security, I'm like, oh, I better look through my backpack because I haven't checked it that well. And so I start digging through there, and sure enough, man, I find like a couple edibles, right? And I'm like, oh shit, like I turn around to my friend, I was like, dude, I got these edibles, and he's like, well, throw them away, and I was like, fuck off. I was like, dude, I'm not throwing these away. We're smuggling these things the old-fashioned way in our bloodstream, dude, all right? Like, it's going to be fine. We smoke a lot of weed, and it's not like I have a fuck ton of edibles, dude. We're going to be okay. And I was wrong about that. I was real wrong, man. Like, one of those, it was a weed edible, but I forgot the other one was mushroom chocolates, right? Yeah. Like, no, dude, it was fucked up. Like, because the one place, like, you don't want to be that high is on an airplane, okay, traveling 35,000 feet, going 500 miles an hour on a steel tube of death, all right? It's not what's up. Like, I knew it was going to be a bad flight because we hadn't even taken off yet, and I was crying. I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And so, like, I'm sitting there. It's like I'm getting even higher and higher as the flight goes on. I'm like, I got to do something to bring me down, man. And so, like, I'm like, oh, I should eat something. Like, somehow that's going to not make me high anymore, you know? And then, so, like, I get a bag of peanuts, and I start eating these peanuts. And I'm not sure if you've ever tried to eat peanuts with a dry mouth. But you can't. Physics is like, nah, Playboy, you're not going to swallow that. Like, I'm just, like, chewing this up, and it's becoming this cement mixture of, like, shitty, like, natural foods, hippie peanut butter that nobody likes, you know? My lips are, like, sticking to my teeth. I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, and so I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I reach into the seat back in front of me to grab the vomit bag. So I'm like, oh, I'll just spit it in there. And as I reach for the vomit bag and start opening it, like, the 8 people sitting around me are like, fuck, this is happening, you know? And I just start, like baby birding the peanut butter in there, and then I handled that shit, and it was awesome. And then finally, like, we land, and I grab my bag out of the overhead compartment. I start walking off, and with each step, like, the anxiety's melting away. I'm feeling better and better until all of a sudden, like, four steps in, the dude starts yelling at me. He's like, sir, sir, and I have no idea that he's talking to me until I hear him say, sir, that's my suitcase. And I'm like, fuck, he might be talking to me, right? So, like, I look down, and I'm not holding my own bag. I'm like, shit, like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I'm just going to go with the truth torpedo. I was like, dude, I'm not trying to steal your bag. I'm just real high right now, you know? And it made him, like, hate me even more. And I was like, fuck this guy, you know? And so, like, I just walk away. I'm in the airport concourse, and then I'm like, first things first, I got to take a bathroom. Like, so I go into the restroom. At the exact same time, dude is walking in the bathroom with me, and he still hates me, right? And so I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I was just, like, real high, you know? I was like, but you know what? You're Mr. Suitcase to me forever now. And that made him, like, roll his eyes and hate me even more. And I was like, God damn it. And so, like, now we're standing in there, like, at the urinals, like, as far apart as you can possibly be. It's literally an angry pissing contest. And I'm just over there like, Bubba Talbay, all about shredding, because that's what I'm about, right? And then so I finish. I'm washing my hands. He starts walking towards me. I was like, this dude's going to try to fight me. Like, I can feel it. But I was wrong. Like, as he's walking towards me, his whole demeanor had changed. And I think while he was peeing, he was thinking about it. He's like, you know what? That guy is a human being just like me. He probably just made a mistake. Because as he's walking towards me, he's like, hey, man, I get it. They were both black. They looked a lot alike, and it was hard to tell them apart. And I don't believe in Jesus, but now I kind of do. Because at that exact moment in time, an African-American police officer walked out of one of the bathroom stalls, and I could tell by the look on his face, like, he didn't know we were talking about suitcases. So I just looked back at dude, and I was like, you're a fucking racist. And I walked out of the bathroom, and I had my revenge. Hey, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. You're great.